And yes, we are live. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And this is already sounding like a cliche. I always get to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anywhere in the world where you are. Well, I think it's appropriate because we are global. So today we are going to be talking about gender roles, equality, patriarchy, feminism, all those things. And I have my friends here, Marlene and Momo. Before I introduce them, I know that some people will be watching this later on replay because I hear they're playing football now, but that's okay. I know that some people will be watching this later, and if you're going to be watching this later, I'd love for you to share your thoughts, what you think, even questions under the comment area. And once you join, please write something down. Let's know you're watching us and also share where you are watching this from. So, yes, Momo, how are you doing today?
IG, I'm okay. I am fine, thank you. It's a good day always coming on your live and have to discuss about some social issues that are always going to be there one way or the other. Social issues would always be a topic of discussion because we are humans and we evolve and we ask for more. So basically, I'm just here to learn from you, learn from Marlene and every other person's comments.
All right, I like that. And like you said, these things would always be there. And I also understand that as we learn, from conversations like this, it'll help our thinking minds, to evolve and see things from, several perspectives. And that's why, this conversation is here. So, hey, beautiful Marlene, how are you?
Hi, Grace. I'm doing all right. Good to be here.
Yes. So I'm happy to have you. And like I said before, I have this my guest people I've had conversations with, and I totally respect your views. Sometimes when I read some things that Marlene, some of the things that you write, I'm like, okay, Marlene is not there, I can't see her. Okay, someone is
Yeah, I'm here.
watching. Please say something so that we'll know who you are. We can't see your name. We can just see that we can see your eye, but we cannot see your name. So just drop something so that we know that this is the person watching. Yeah. So like I mentioned, and like Momo rightly said, some of these topics would be there. We'll continue to talk about some of these things. And it is important that as we're evolving and we're learning, would continue to see things differently. So this topic, and I like the way Marlene put it, how some of these social issues affect, some the roles that we play in several aspects of life. So I have one first question, and please, these questions they were sent to me, so I'm very very innocent. I'm just going to anchor this, and no question here is directly from me. I got it from different people, and the first question, that I'm going to be throwing out there is, in your opinion, do you think people should be taught specific gender rules to follow? As in, do you understand the question? Do you think so? I'm asking Momo first. I'd like for Momo to go first. Yes. Yeah, the first person, after me, as it is here, that's how, but I'll be asking it interchangeably. Yeah. So the first question here, without, having a particular um topic like it is, I just dropped all the questions randomly. So in your opinion, yeah, do you think people should be taught specific gender roles, to function in a society? Do you think they should be taught gender roles to function in the society? Momo, shoot.
Okay. First and foremost, thank you for this opportunity for bringing me to your live once again. Um, Social constructs would have said ladies first, right? But here we are. I'm going first. We are unconventional like that.
We are unconventional, yes,
We are unconventional like that. I like it. So, how can we teach people how to behave as humans, how to act
Yeah.
because of a certain gender? That alone is like
Hmm.
trying to animalize humanity, because basically humans should be allowed to flow and be who they want to be. So basically, because if, for example, I'm a guy and you make me a chef, does that mean I cannot be a pilot? So you see that we are going to only cause more confusion. The beauty of humanity right now is because we are allowed to be whatsoever we wish and we can aspire to be. That's the beauty. But when you know this one is only going to get this part, then what are we doing? We are just going to be like animals that we know a life pattern. This is going to be a domestic dog. This is going to be. So at the end of the day, I'm not sure we are going to cause more chaos in humanity rather than cause peace. So at the end, why would you want to control and limit people? So in my opinion, I'll say no. I believe people should be allowed to aspire for whatsoever role they choose to be. People should be given the freedom of choice. Yes, I understand that we are not totally free because we are conditioned by a lot of other issues. But these are conditions that we have chosen to accept, not we are forced to accept it because we're a certain gender. I don't know if I can come back again.
Mm-hmm.
We are all, we seem we are free, but we know we are not totally free because we have a lot of things conditioning us to act a certain way. Be it tribe, be it
Hmm.
religion, be it place of birth, be it opportunity, be it chances. But remember, a lot of these things are things that are falling upon us and we have accepted, we've chosen it. Nobody called us, no human told us you cannot break through. That's why I see a son of a carpenter becoming a president because he has not been seen as a carpenter. Remember Plato's State of Nature, where he said, those that are soldiers can only give birth to people that will be soldiers. Those that are leaders will give birth to leaders. That's what you are trying to ask. There was no peace. There can't be peace then because people cannot aspire. The beauty of life is when the son of a nobody can become a somebody in a world of everybody. So I really don't think I would aspire to that, and I don't think a child like buying it's like giving birth to a child or children and telling them what you want them to be. No, because at the end of the day, our parents stopped us from playing football during our time, but right now we are begging. I pay for my son to play football, to learn how to play football. But during my time, while I was playing football, I was told, no, go inside, go and become a doctor, go and become this, go and become that. Yeah, I'm happy because that was where they understood up to. But because the world evolves, that's why teaching people to remain at a certain place would, would only harm
Some
them.
people are loving what you're saying. I'm seeing thumbs up. If only they can comment, I'd love it even better. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I had to
It,
just
it would
chip
only
that in.
harm them because at the end of the day, as we evolve as a society, new trends emerge. And because new trends emerge, we are humans, we tend to also unlearn, we learn to merge ourselves with with those new trends. You understand? Yes, some people would decide to remain where they are and not want to move because of what's called what's their belief.
Comfort zone.
No, not really.
Okay,
It's
believe.
kind of
Okay.
comfort, but it's a belief perception. It's psychologically called a belief perception, where you have a preconceived belief that even when people tell you things have passed you by, you say, no, I want to use this phone. Some of our parents have it. They don't use the normal phones. They use those little phones because they've been conditioned that way. See, we're conditioning us because they were not even used to
Yeah.
using phones. So when the first set of phones came out and they were used to those kind of phones, they are scared of evolving. Till today, you get your father a phone and he's telling you, I cannot operate it. Come and pick my call. It's not that he cannot learn it, but he's not willing to learn it. That's preconceived belief.
Absolutely.
That's preconceived belief. And there's something called confirmation bias. If you now ask him, go and search how to do this on Google, I can't use Google because my age is not supposed to use Google. Because when he goes there, say, how many of my age mates are there? He's having his beliefs, he's always searching things to his own because of conditioning. You see, the problem with conditioning is it's a lot of the issues we have, yes, our society, we are kind of conditioned one way or the other, but we keep learning, unlearning, and relearning. And you understand that, okay, fine, this condition is time to outgrow it. That makes you a growing, thinking human. You outgrow some conditionings, you learn new ones, because everything you're learning is conditioning. From your education, from the day you were born, how to call mama, dada, the language you speak, everything. Because if you were in France, you speak French. If you are in the UK, you speak English. So you understand everything is conditioning. Your environment is playing a great role on you. But the beauty is when you now grow up, you can decide to learn another language. It's a choice. But if I've conditioned to only speak a language, that's where the trouble what you are saying. I cannot communicate with some people. But right now we have some people who were not born Chinese, but they speak good Mandarin. And you ask yourself, wow, where did you learn it? He learns it. She
Absolutely.
learns it. So I believe I totally will kick against any form of gender roles based on
Stereotyping.
women, stereotyping.
Okay. Thank you so much, Momo. And UK is saying absolutely, I mean, absolute freedom is a myth.
It's a
True.
myth, yeah.
So he's agreeing with you. And then Michelle Johnson is saying, Momo is right. People should be guided rather than conditioned into roles. And before I ask, okay, I'm just going to ask Marlin the same question. And I'll repeat it. In your opinion, or should I repeat it, or
No, it's
you
fine.
can
I get the
just
question. I get the question.
fantastic. All right, please share your views.
So, first of all, where did gender roles come from? How were they structured?
Mm,
Have we ever asked ourselves who decided that, oh, the woman should be the one cooking, the man should be the one going to work? When did that start? Because the same history we'll read will show us part of history where the women and the children will be the one to be farming, and then the man will be building the barnyard. You understand? So at what
mm,
point did history change for us to come to this, our parents' very recent time, where we are growing up in a society where we're being conditioned to think, hey, women have this role, have always had this role, men have this role, have always had this role. When did that start? Where did it come from? Who does it apply to? Because even in our society today, let's take it back to like primary school, for example, where back then, every prefect, class prefect is the boy. And as a girl, if you like taking first position, you only aspire to be the assistant. In class, senior prefect, everything, the girl only aspires to be the second. Now, even during our time, did you realize that if you are in a school where they have like a senator's child who is a female in that school, that senator's child can come out to be appointed a prefect? That role
mm.
that was supposedly just for men. Do you see that a lot of the
Has
times these
changed.
gender roles, they don't apply, they actually, as much as they are very social, these rules are not meant for some a class of people. They are meant to bind the poor. They are meant to
Mm,
bind the regular man. When we come out and do, oh, wife cook, wife not cook, who are the people having these arguments? Rich families with all their helps, ironing, doing everything for them. The wife does not sit down and come on social media to be doing wife not cook for us when they can be in Israeli raising funds for the projects they are working on. Their children don't
mm,
come out to argue, my mom cooks, my dad goes to work. It is we here, the average people, that face this we're in this economic situation where we think people have to choose. Meanwhile, those people who control the systematic society, the systems that have already existed anyway, those people in power, those people who wake up and have more impact in our churches, our religious societies as it is. I mean, look at our religious circles, right? You come to a religious place, both the old kind of, let me use church because I'm a Christian, but I've seen it play. I've had conversations and seen it play in other religions where we have hierarchy. If the governor attends your church, they are given more recognition than you, the average Joe sitting in the congregation. It doesn't matter what you aspire to be tomorrow, but they are dignitaries in church. And these people, when they speak, do you think the pastor would not listen to their counsel? So apart from the fact that these societal structures are there conforming us to everything we're doing, the same people who are not conformed to these roles we have to adapt by are still the ones, they're still the custodians of these norms, of this conditioning at every level, economic level, cultural level, religious level, the same things that are used to bind and condition us. And the world is, thankfully, the world is changing in our times. I mean, we're here, we're learning that, hey, this thing is not supposed to be so. If my child is qualified for this, my child should go for this. Let my child not win this because, let my child be the prefect. Let them not win the prefect this thing because they could not win and pass. I mean, I see videos of children in primary school reading manifestos. And anywhere I see those videos, I go out play and listen to them. Where the conditioning, the preconditioning, we are breaking them down. That socialization, gradually, even right here in Nigeria, the world is gradually shifting. But I always ask the question, at what people who still hold to these gender roles, at what point do you really think, if you look at history, study history, and you keep saying this is how things have been, at what point did these things change? Because I look at my history and I remember there are parts of the history where it was our mothers who go and farm. So at what point did it come to women only cook and the men go to work? That when we now started having modern day work that is not farming, it became men doctors, men lawyers, women go and learn tailoring, women go and learn how to cook, open restaurants, go and be a nurse. You understand? And then we raise children who you would ask them, you would be like, there was this video I asked, they brought a group of kids. When you hear doctor, who do you think, man or woman? Man. When you hear nurse, woman. That's the socialization. These are children who don't know they don't know much. They don't know anything about social concepts, but they look at the society. They grew up with this conditioning. And that is what, they become gatekeepers tomorrow who would feel, why would I employ a woman for this role? No, I'm uncomfortable with this. Even if you people are saying things are changing, this is not how we were raised. And that is why sometimes I cut our parents slack, because their generation, that was how they were conformed. That was how they were raised. They were not loud. They did not really have a voice to challenge institutions like this the way we do now, right? They did not see the need for it. So gender roles are very limiting, and not just to the woman, to the men. I mean, I'm so happy when I see my dad now. My dad will finish call with me and say, I love you. It never happened till I grew up. It never happened. It was so bad that I can still remember the first time when I was a child, where I cried and cried. I did something, my mom beat me. I cried and cried, and my dad had to call me in Kem over and over again before I stopped crying. So you can imagine having that kind of significant memory because you've never seen your parents expressing that kind of emotion. Why is it that is the women that were supposedly emotional? I mean, I've been with extremely emotional men that I ask myself, am I the problem? Am I being less emotional? So you see, it's that conditioning. People should be, if I'm in a home where I have the capacity to earn more and it's more beneficial to my partner and I, and one person has to maybe take care of our kids, and that is the best for our family, that is it. If I'm in a situation where my husband has to be the one to go out there and earn because he has the better opportunity, and one person has to take care of the home, you understand? As long as we're making, why I challenge that whenever it's the woman that is expected to do this is because how free is that choice? And also, is it coming from an informed place? Why is that role expected of the woman and not the man? I had a friend I was talking to some days back, and he is relocating, to another country for work. And then his family has to move in a couple of months to join him. And I'm like, what of your wife's work? You're growing in your company, like you're getting to managerial role, and now people have lived in this country for over 8 years. She has built a career in the health sector. Now she has to leave and move because you have been transferred to start a life over again afresh with you. What of her? Why could you not could you have turned down this opportunity to remain in that other country so your wife's career trajectory would not be affected? Could you have started in a new company knowing you won't start from this managerial role? You see the dynamics and expectations. Now, if this came from a place where the wife is very informed about having and owning a choice, right? If someone like me takes that kind of decision, I would not have thought it through, considered what is best for me, considered what is best for my family, and really made that decision because I am okay with that decision and not because it is expected of me as a woman. These are the things with gender roles. When people make these decisions because of conditioning, because they think this is
how it
expected,
should
and
be.
then they limit themselves. So that is it. That's why gender roles they're obsolete. They shouldn't exist. People should just be able to make informed decisions on what is best for them. If we were in that kind of situation, if we were in that kind of society, I would even be proud of a stay-at-home mom because it's her decision and she's not doing it because of the society. But then I have a problem with that now because I know most women around me who do it, they're not doing it from an informed position. They're not empowered to take that decision. So that is the problem with gender role and what it does to us.
Oh, you guys have spoken so well. And I remember very when I was doing my youth service, because I studied physics and I was looking to do physics and electronics, which somehow, with what people say we're conforming to is more masculine than feminine. So when I wanted to go and do a job, I was called. My office was called. I was in the ITD department then, and I was called. Our office was. They called our office, and I took my tools. I was going to go and fix something. Hey, immediately I opened the door. The woman saw me, say, where are your guys now? I said, I've come to fix it. She just told me, I beg, when your guys are available, they can come. Now, I felt really bad because that particular statement started changing everything in my head, about this particular field. Maybe I wasn't very strong on even doing anything, but I can tell that it is daily affecting some of the choices that people, make in our today's reality. And that brings me to the next question. We've
Sorry,
talked about
G, before the
how,
next question, G, please, can I say something? Most
yes,
of the issues we are facing is social constructs. Like what you
yeah,
faced with that woman is a social construct. What you faced
yes,
was power dynamism with the couples, power dynamism. We have power dynamism everywhere at play. And not only the downtrodden masses or the poor in society that have issues with gender roles, even up there, political parties, look at them. We are talking about it's time for this tribe to rule, it's time. Nobody's talking about the woman. We've never had a female
mm.
president or a female
Ah,
vice president. Nobody's talking about
let's
that.
not even
Are you
go there.
getting my
If
are
you
you
go there,
getting
they'll
my
say,
issue?
even
That's not
women will say,
you
she's not even.
understand. Even amongst themselves, they don't believe they have the power because they've made them believe that's the power dynamic. Social
the
construct,
weaker
power
the
dynamic.
weaker vessel kind of thing that has been
They've used the social
conditioned
construct
into.
to condition them, now showed them a power dynamism where the man is higher than the woman. So you see, starting from the prefectship, it's left school, it's not in our society. Let's talk about leaders of parties, party chairmen, even in the local level. How many women are local party chairmen?
Thank you.
None.
I'm not talking about the general. Look at the two biggest parties in Nigeria, for example. How many women have a chairmanship position? If it's
None.
possible for a man to become the women's leader, he will be. We've had that in Nigeria before. So
This
that's the power dynamism I'm telling you at play, where it starts from social people believing they are not good enough,
good
then
enough,
seeing
yeah.
the power, then being oppressed by the power.
Yeah,
So you
this
see,
reminds me of. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no,
Oh,
what I was
okay.
trying to say is
That
that everybody go through this in different strata.
ways,
So
yes.
yeah, so even if the masses are talking about who is cooking, who is this, that's one side of it. What led to feminism in the Western world? Feminism is not an African concept. It's a Western concept because they also have these issues there where you might be more women in an organization, but your leaders are all men. More women in an organization, but the leadership are all men. It happens. It's in the Western world. So that's why they had to stand up and like, how can we advocate for equality among sexes? And to achieve this, you don't really need to deny that those problems are not there. So accept it, that we have those problems, and you have to now create rules to ensure that they are they are targeted to solving those issues that led us to AA, reverse discrimination, and the AAs. People have to make these decisions. But once you lie to yourselves, these things are not there, then you are not going to find a solution. So saying this role
Yeah.
is for women is not that you are trying to say men no. It's like you're trying to bring equality of the sexes. Because and when we're talking about equality of sex, people think we mean what a man can do, a woman should do. No, we are talking about equal opportunity. Maybe we need to break it down. Let people understand. We're talking about
Oh, yes, because I need to.
We
I
do.
also need to learn. We'll get to that part because I have a problem with that statement personally. What a man can do, a woman can do, um, better.
it's
I
not
don't
about
know.
competition.
And
It's
I
not
also
competition. It's not a competition. That's
that's
why
that's how I
when you look
say it.
at
What
sports,
there's no
there are
basis
male
for
sports
for
and
for
female sports. But there is still problem in
yeah.
that because the female believe they are not being paid as well as the male. That's what we are talking about. Equal opportunities. A woman is playing football. Why is she earning less than the man? That's the question.
Less
Not why is she not playing with a man? Are you not getting me? Because we are talking about strength here. We are not moving biological. This is not social.
Yeah.
Biology has made us different, whether we like it or not. We are different biologically. But when you put that in
Michelle,
society,
we have to take
I think that is
we have
where
to take
I think
our
that is where
people.
yeah,
We need to take people that commenting along. I'm sure you're not able to see some of the
no,
comments, but
no.
I'm
no
able to
no we
see. So
can.
I need to yeah. So I need to to share with you. Michelle says something that is very profound, and I think the question I'm going to be asking will be around there. She said, "Patriarchy started gender roles.
Yes.
Patriarchy started gender roles."
Agreed.
And she just said statements like women are great multitaskers, and she rolled her eyes like, duh.
Duh.
Like, duh. And then
Shout out to
what you
Michelle.
guys are saying.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Michelle,
shout.
my friend.
Oh, okay. Good to have you. And what I really want to understand. I want us to see if we can strike a balance. And I would ask this question, even though we've just talked about social conditioning is the reason why it is looking like some things are best for men, and other things are better for women. So realistically speaking, now let's pick realistically. And Marlene, I'll go with you first. Do you think that, and thank God you talked about biology. Do you think that naturally some things are some things are better naturally for a particular gender? Do you think that some things are easier, maybe for lack of a better word, some things like some tasks or some, certain things are naturally easier for a particular gender than the other? What do you think about that? And
Okay.
I don't want to give
Okay.
examples because I
No,
want you
don't
to,
give. Don't
come
worry.
from. Okay.
So
Yeah, Marlene, go.
first of all, I can get pregnant because I have a womb, right? Anybody who has a womb can get pregnant too.
Yeah.
That is
Sure.
the only thing. Same way, if I had just one eyes, I'll be able to see with just one eyes. Same way, if I could fly, if I had wings to fly, I'll be able to fly. Now, that does not even mean that someone else who can get, if there was a way for a man to get pregnant, someone who identifies as a man to get pregnant, he will get pregnant. It is what it is. Now, what has that capacity got to do with anything? If as a woman, I have the skills, I have the expertise, I have the zeal and the capacity to lead this country, right? What is that thing that would stop me from leading a country because I can get pregnant? People will use, because these are the things people use. I remember when Amina, I've forgotten her surname, she ran for elections in Abuja in this Buhari Areas Council a while ago. I remember back then reading her book, I think 2018, 2019. And something was very profound with what she said. She said, when she started going, and this is someone coming from a relatively influential family, to get to even have access to stand for that kind of election as at then, not now, where tokenism and a little bit of genuine effort is putting women, regular women, in these spaces who want to be in that spaces, and reducing gatekeeping for us. Now, she said something that one of the meetings when she started going to her party, trying to get her party form and the ticket to run and stuff, they told her this is no place for a woman, because can you come for a meeting by 3 a.m.? Now, first of all, they know, they realize, this was a room full of men. They realize that we're in a society that has conditioned the woman to be at home by 3 a.m. One, safety. Two, conditioning of being a mother and being at home with your family. You understand? So we have grown up in a society where it is okay for a man in certain aspects to go out for a political meeting by 3 a.m. But it is not safe. It is not okay for a woman. Now, is that problem the woman or the society? And then you use this now as a barrier for women who want to be in those spaces. Now, tell me how that is not you setting up a system. The patriarchy is setting up a system that can only accommodate men, and restrict women. She said one of those nights she had to drive out by that 3 a.m. and tell them, what is that thing that is not happening to you that will happen to me because I'm a woman? Now, if a woman is pregnant and is running for office, right, and you feel okay, you have a problem with the fact that she would need maternity leave. She would need maternity leave to take care of the baby. Why is it now, when the woman has brought out the baby, why is it mostly the role of the why if we were not conditioned to think the woman is the primary caregiver outside breastfeeding, which is a biological role, right? Why do we think men don't need paternity leave to also bond and take care of the baby at that stage? You see this structuring. It's like people who were there before us, they picked up on these things and built up on them. If we grew up in a society where it was that women are heads, right? And the woman, you will carry the child, you push out the child, and it's the man's duty to start nurturing that child. Do you realize that if we did not know what we know now, and that is the only thing we know, that this is how it works, that is what would have been the reality? You realize we are where we are, doing things the way we do, because that is how it has always been. That is what was prescribed and designed as the natural order of things. If we were in a world where a woman carried a child, push it out, the man nurtures, roles are defined like this, that is the role we would even take. If we were in a society or in a world where men, you stay at home, oh, the woman goes out to work, men, what are you doing out? Why are you here? Where's your wife? Did your wife give you permission? That is what we will know as the norm. And nobody would frown at it. Nobody would question if the woman can do this. Now, we're also growing up in a very empathic society where we realize that even if a man needs a mental health break, as an office, you can provide that support for him. So why is it a problem when it's a woman that needs perhaps that kind of break because she has maybe she's going through painful cramps? Or you understand, once it's a woman needing these things, it becomes women are soft, women need special care, women need special attention, because also we have conditioned men to think they don't need time for their mental health. They can't break down, they can't burn out at work. So why would a man come and ask for time because he's burning out? Why will an office willingly want to lose a week because the man is burning out? But if a woman comes, okay, cramp, okay, biology will not fit. You see these constructs that make it seem like a woman cannot do these things. Why can't a woman do them? There are not, to me, I don't see anything that a capable woman cannot do. If I have the expertise, whatever it is, farming, drawing my generator, being a mechanic, being an exporter, ruling a country, running a university, whatever it is, going into space, as long as I am capable, I know how to manage my responsibilities and deliver. As soon as a man is capable, can manage his responsibilities and deliver, whatever it is that he wants to do, whatever it is that she wants to do, these things are taught. They are learned. I didn't grow up reading and writing and becoming a writer or a GI consultant because I was born with it. A woman did not grow up cooking because there's a gene that makes her to cook. These are things we learn, and if society has structured
let me look for trouble. Let me look for trouble. Mali, let me look for trouble. Can you kill a snake?
That is the thing. I can't kill a snake, and I'm sure there are 100 men out there that cannot.
I can't kill a snake either. Does that make sense?
And I'm sure there are women abroad who
kill a
have
snake either. So
if we turn to Joe Wild,
snake killing competition.
In
a snake killing competition, some of us would also be women. That makes me a woman. Then
I like that. I like that. Okay.
If we were in a society where we grew up in a world where the woman has been shaped and presented as the protector, protecting her husband and her children, if that was the only thing we knew as a society, will anybody expect a man to kill a snake? They will ask the woman, what was your wife doing? Snake, and your wife did not kill it. You have a useless wife. That is the truth. It's just the society we grew up in and the things we grew up knowing.
And interestingly, if a man should see one and is running, the society has like, this man is a weakling.
But why should he not run? Why should he
I accept my weakling with my chest. My full chest. I take my weakling. Allow me run, because I'm not in a competition with anybody. That's one person. That's the thing. No, I run with my full chest. I'm a weakling. I agree. You call me a sissy, I am. Anything you want, anything you free, I am free. At that moment, see, gender roles is kind of funny how people try to box people in a box. You try to put someone in a box, you try to allow people not to breathe. We need to live and breathe and learn and everything. Whether we like it or not, the knowledge we have 2 years ago we might not have had it. And 2 years from now, we might ask ourselves these things, some of these we live in today, if we have had it. At the end of the day, because you are human, you grow, you aspire. So every role is open enough for these people to aspire. Aside the biological roles, like I said before. biology has made us different. So basically, there are some things, unless you go and meet a doctor to do it biologically, you cannot do it yourself. You understand? So we know those things and we don't need to go into them. But when it comes to the society and you can achieve anything, you can be a pilot. Some men don't like heights, they can't be pilots. Some women love heights, they can be pilots. You see, these things are just very funny when you try to say this is a man's job. I always turn and look at it. Why should be a man's job to carry 25 liters? Who told you I don't like carrying 10 liters? You understand? Who told you I don't want to be at home, let my woman go and hustle and come back? It can sweet me too to watch movies from morning till night and be a baby boy for her. Basically, at the end of the day, it's a choice. Like Marlin said, informed choice. If you're making informed choice, because there are some family members I have, they are full-time housewife and they are balling. They're even balling that ladies at work. Because this woman went to school, had everything up to PhD, and she's sitting at home chilling. It's choice. No, I like when people make informed choices about their life and hold it up to their chest. I have friends that are different from the way they want people are because they know what they are doing and they are happy. Because happiness is subjective. Not because something makes you happy, this is making the other person happy. And that's also with love. You love people the way they want you to love them, not the way you think love is supposed to be. Our parents loved us the way they thought was best for them. That's why a lot of the children, a lot of us became rebels. We grew up as rebels because you don't love someone the way you think he is them. You don't talk to your own narrative. That's where we are today in this society. We give, and when we are trying to make a change, we do what? Tokenism, give them a little. Okay, now come, let me give you the best deal. Manipulating the person, gaslighting the person. You think you have changed. Why you have not really understood what the person's issue or demands are. That's the problem of feminism in our side of in the African side of the world. A lot of times when the women say we want this, we want that, they give them okay, a woman is this, a woman is that in my local government, and they need to campaign, and I'm like, that's feminism. You are doing it not because you feel the person, you are just using it because you feel the person can be there. You are using the person, gaslighting the person. I see that's wrong. It should be because you believe this person has the ability to do his job. Feminism is not telling you to take away standards. Make people with equal standards.
Equal standards, yeah.
Equal standards. Yes, it should be under the foundation. It should not be based on gender, tribe, religion, nothing, or disability. You don't also forget that. Because people are also treated wrong because of their disability and say, no,
Yes,
most of our buildings in Nigeria before I left were not wheelchair accessible.
nothing.
You do a lift and you do an elevator, you don't have a lift for the wheelchair people, you expect the elevator, everybody to follow the elevator. So someone using wheelchair, how the person access the place? Inequality. So you see, the society itself needs remodeling. It needs social remodeling. And this social remodeling starts from cleansing of our minds. Because when it comes to strong women in Africa, we've had strong women. I read people like Fumilayo and Sonkusi. I read about the Aba women riot of 1920. How women took the laws in their hands, came out naked and changed the government. You understand? When you see these things and you sit and you ask, what is happening to our modern day women? Why are they not out there? So
yeah, and you know,
so it is time from our parents.
When they try, they'll call them aggrieved, and you know, I've not even. We're still in number one. Number one question.
You're already using
to just say something to what he just said now. To just say something to what he just said now. I remember I was at this Nala Fem Summit 2 months ago. Grace, I don't know if you heard of it. Nala Feminist Collective. They are submitting in Abuja here. And then one of our politicians was, I don't know, there's this sound. Am I the only one hearing it?
I thought it was my mic.
Oh, okay. So there was this politician who was on seat, yeah, and they were talking about why we don't have women out there in political spaces. Why don't we have women in all these leadership positions? Why don't we have young people also, not just women? And this man said, one of our politicians, he said, we have because women are not putting themselves all out there. When Dora Akunyili was there, Dora even said he used to work with Dora, and Dora even said that the most problem she has is other women, because when she comes out, they're like, how can she lead us? Like, women don't put themselves out there, and when any of the women who put themselves out there gets there, they get no support. And one of the speakers, one young lady, God bless her, from Tanzania, she said no. She looked at the hall and she said, Nigerians, your politician is sitting here and saying this. I hope you're bold and brave enough to question the system they put in place to create barriers for women. If we're just coming out from a generation where our mothers were conditioned not to be the breadwinners, not to go for some certain professions that were valued, because it's now that we look at catering, we look at housekeeping, and we know these are very, very necessary professions that have integrity and value, that are no better than you being a doctor. But back then, I mean, how do you want to tell your parents you want to be a professional home decorator, or you want to own a cleaning business, or they don't see value in these professions. And then the ones that are valuable, medicine, law, it was mostly for men, engineering. So now, how do you think you won't come up with a new age of people where men are more capacitated to excel, who have the better jobs with more earning powers, who are in rooms women are still struggling to enter, and then you come and set election this thing for 100 million? How many women can afford that? And then at the end of the day, maybe when people complain, everybody's talking about inclusion, you bring one woman, one politician's daughter that has been groomed in that circle, that had that access all her life, and put there, and then say, but a woman is there. You understand? Now you complain of other women not supporting these women. These other women are women who have been conditioned to think a woman cannot lead them like a man. And they already see this woman standing up as somebody who will fail. Like, how she go take win? So why should I waste my support? They have been groomed. I still blame the society even for that. So when you create systems that create multiple layers of barriers, not like men don't have barriers. I mean, we pointed out the youth. He said election day, is it not the youth that are still responsible for the election malpractices, stealing of ballot boxes and stuff, that if you go from the policeman to the polling unit, people working are the young people. You won't see our old men that will blame in politics there. So at the end of the day, it is still the youth that are responsible for this. And they asked him something. Did the youth tell you that they don't want their names on the ballot boxes? That all they want is to come every 4 years and stand on the road and go on in polling units to man election processes? Why is it that these are the roles the youth are given access to? Why has no youth? How many youth can afford to actually be there to run for this election, get through the party politics, get into these spaces and stand with the old men? So when you create this bar, because we can't afford to, we cannot afford it. How many youth have the 100 million? How many youth have been given spaces for that experience, for leadership experience self, even from party grassroots level, where you have to serve as boy for 20 years before they give you local government chairman? Then how do you go from there to you understand? These structures have been set to limit barriers, multiple layers, and then they now come and ask you, why are women not putting themselves out there? What is happening to our women? The barriers.
You see,
the barriers, there's so much.
One thing you said that struck me was what they always do. They blame the people that are complaining rather than listening. It's like, why are the women not putting themselves forward should be the question, not the women are not putting themselves forward. In a working society, what you need to know is why. Why are the youths hosting the election malpractice? That's according to him. That's why it's not me who said so. According to him, why? Then the question should be why. Because you cannot be in leadership position without answering the whys. Because the whys are the solution providers for the next level. Why are women not coming out? Rather than blaming them, and why they are not coming out. That's because to reverse discrimination and affirmative action. you need to put these things in place. Meaning these positions for now should be left for women to encourage
Oh,
them
when you do that, they will now cry and be like, women are asking for preferential treatment because they don't understand what
whether
equity
okay, let me explain to you. Now, in our constitution in Nigeria, there's something called reverse discrimination.
Yeah.
That's why when they release cut-off marks, some states have lesser than others. So if
Yeah.
it can happen to states for people to go to school, it can also happen in political positions.
Oh,
It
yes,
should
we
happen
get
because
that.
that's the only
But once
solution.
it happens, when people want to fight and counter
There
feminism
should be
and
no
counter
fight.
all these equity efforts, they will tell you, oh, women of today, you people are just asking for preferential treatment. And I'm like, excuse me, are you seeing the barriers we're trying to bridge to even get to the table?
When people bring equity and equality, I tend to understand that the conversation should end because they don't understand what we are saying. Equality of sexes, of opportunities for both sexes is different from equity. Equity means we are both getting opportunity. Now we want to look for how to satisfy each and every one of us based on our needs. But first and foremost, we both
Thank
gotten
you.
opportunity. So when I'm
Thank
talking of
you.
equality of sexes, you're talking of equity. I'm asking, have we even achieved equality? You need to get the equality of opportunities before you bring equity.
Is if you okay, you know what? I need to because I will just hang here and we just have like how many
Sorry.
I think it's
I
G. I think your mic is giving us.
okay, so maybe I
Yeah,
should do
it's
without
better now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better. It's
But
bad.
or we should try muting ourselves when we're not talking. Maybe that will help.
I think it's
No,
G.
no, no. But if you can hear me, if my mic is not
Yeah, yeah,
disturbing,
Yeah, it's
I
okay
yeah.
can
It's
just
now.
go
better
It's
ahead.
now.
okay now.
Yeah, it's better now.
Mhm.
Okay. So, again, I'm going to play the devil's advocate, or better still, I'm going to be as realistic as possible. Now, this question that I'm asking is, I want to ask now is, I would have to agree first before I would ask the next question. It is obvious, the answer is obvious, but I want to see patriarchy. Are we in a patriarchal society globally? Are we in a patriarchal society? Or yes, that's the question. Are we in a patriarchal society?
For me, yes.
Mama,
Okay,
what's the answer?
I think it depends on the level if it's globally, because some societies like the Scandinavian countries are really doing enough to move away from patriarchal society. Like Finland has a prime minister that is a woman, and not just that, some odd. I'm not saying they are not patriarchal. There is not a patriarchal society. I'm trying to say it's in levels. You can't just use a blanket and cover the whole world because some people are already
No,
making
okay,
conscious
yes.
effort.
Let me start statistically speaking,
Of course, yes.
using
Statistically
ratio,
speaking, yes.
using
Yes.
Yes.
globally, are we in a so
Yes.
maybe let's better
Yes.
put.
Yes.
Now, we've agreed now that we are in a patriarchal society. Now, the next question is there a possibility, and Mom, I'm asking you, is there a possibility that there's something about the men that has got to do with superiority and has given them that opportunity to make the society or to condition the society a patriarchal one? Is there something about men, in quotes? Because, of course, when you come to a place and someone is the leader or someone is leading the pack, there is something about there's something about that person that has given that person the opportunity to be the one leading. Now, the question is, we are in a patriarchal society globally when we look at the statistics. Is there a possibility, again, I ask, is there a possibility that there is something about the men that has given them that advantage to be to condition the society to be patriarchal?
This question
Momo,
is
that
on.
question is to you.
Yeah, the question is onion loaded, but I'm going to try and unravel it the way I can and understand it. First and foremost, I'm going to say there's power dynamism in the world, and who has the
Yeah.
power will wield the sword. Men have been leaders for a longer time because of the world started from war to capturing lands and all. Yes, there were female warriors, but there were more male warriors, so they were more they dominated more when it came to from the war down to our modern day. So basically, the world was evolving. The men were putting themselves in strategic positions to make decisions, and because these decisions were being made, they were the ones people were looking up to. Like, who does this? A man. Female football just started compared to male football. That's the first World Cup was in 1930s. When was the first female World Cup? I don't know if you're understanding my point. So basically,
Yeah.
a woman had to look at a man playing football before she realized she can also play football. Conditioning.
Mm.
So basically, the men strategically were like the first to shoot. Who was the first person to be in the moon? A man. So if tomorrow a woman wants to go, she has a man there to aspire to be. Who is the first Nobel laureate in Nigeria? You
Amen.
understand? So there's a way you see what's happening. The women were made to believe they were to play second fiddle to the man right from birth. So they were groomed for a man. They were groomed for a man.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they saw the man as a prize.
Hmm.
Have you watched Coming to America? When the lady was,
Yes.
if you tell me to
Back
talk,
a dog.
like that was trying to
I can
tell
support
you
that.
something. That's an American movie, but they're trying to play something to you, conditioning. Who was the prince? Is the prize. That lady is from a wealthy home too. For her to marry a prince, her parents must be friends to the king because that's how they get married. So you understand, she's not a poor person, but see how
Mm.
they condition a rich man's child to back like a dog because she wants because the prince is. So if you look at all these,
Hmm.
it's when you put yourself in strategic position. That's it. All has to boils down to power. The men had the power and they
Mm.
wielded it. So the women rose up to understand that come here, we are not, we are not, nobody's advocating for our
Harmless.
own equality. So let's move on. That was what led to the feminism movement.
So is it
Feminism
okay to
movement.
say? Is it okay to say that men or then now whatever they had an advantage or they had an edge or they had some attributes, something about them that gave them that edge
Yes, physical power. Like
over
I said, it
women?
started from war. It starts from physical power because, like I said, it started from the war.
Physical.
Physical power. And because of their physical power, they could conquer lands and conquer everything in that land. So basically, they were seen as the warriors to be feared. So when you see these things, even if you go through religious books, you would see all these things playing out to where it is today. The world has a history. So if you go historical to read how we are here today, it's a vehicle that moved us here. And the vehicle started from the numerous wars that were fought. Yes, some women were part of the war, but like we're talking about ratio, proportion, numbers. You understand? So
And
because
I
no, you
also
can.
feel like women were written out of history a lot, because I remember all the movies I've watched when education started. If a woman is learning how to read or write, they're like, why are you learning that? It's not a woman's place. Who are the people that are writing these histories? And then we hear folklores, and stories where we hear how our women of those days, our four mothers, how they fought, they ruled, they held these positions that we have. And that's why I said I don't know where that dynamic started. I would really like to know where things changed and became a society for men, empowering men more, conditioning women to play single fiddle, like Momo said, because I believe surely all we know is not all there was to the women before us. They were written
Yeah,
out
and
of
the same
history because
question to you,
because
Marley.
yes,
Marlene, the
yeah.
same question to you because I want us, like what I was able to get from the first conversation is roles can change based on biology. So every other thing can be done, but biology comes to play a role. So I want some of these points to stand out. We have unanimously agreed that statistically speaking, we are in a patriarchal society. And I want, he has explained something. Now I was able to get that physically men stood out and they had the advantage over women, taking, when you go back to history and even what we are seeing play out in recent times. So the same question to you, Marlene. Do you think that the reason why men are ruling and men are taking the front seat, in all areas, and because is it because they have something special about them, or do you think they have an edge over women, or what do you think is the reason why in the first place they are the ones in all these areas that we are looking at today?
Outside your ability to get me pregnant and my ability to have a womb and carry that pregnancy, there is absolutely nothing special about the role a man can perform and the role a woman can perform. To me, that is my opinion. Because imagine that all of us now were 10, we grew up in an enclosed compound where we have never met the society we know now, we have never met anybody else. And right from birth, we are 3 women, and these 3 women, we are trained to go out into the field in the compound here, fight, trained to be warriors. That is all we have been raised to be, right? We have our mother here who is a senior warrior training us, and then the boys are with their father. When we train and enter the house, they cook and give us food, give us water to wash our hands, we eat. They serve us, remove the plates. Tell me, 20 years from now, if they infiltrate this compound, who would fight? Who would be stronger? Is it not we that have been training to be warriors? We would generally, in fact, every generation that comes from this compound, they would always say the women are the ones who are physically strong. The women are the one with the strength. They are the warriors. They are the fighters. Now, do you
So are
really
you
think
saying, is it okay to now say that men had the privilege to be trained to be the ones in the forefront to fight the war in those days? Would you say that they had that power, or is it okay to say that they had the privilege? Because you still said that until you train people, so that those women that were trained and they got the ability to be able to fight, right? So is it okay to say that the reason why men are seen or perceived to be the ones, ruling would be because
Grace?
they had the opportunity
Yeah, I
to
get your
learn?
question. I get your question, but I'm trying to come from 2 different perspectives and how I see it. Now, today, we have the military, right? All the inclusion efforts globally militaries have been making to admit capable men and capable women that meet their specific requirements, your height, your physicals, your health. Please, are the women not doing their job? Are the men not doing their job when they get trained to do their job? Are they not out there fighting the wars? Right? If the military recruited, if they call for recruitment and more women pass the recruitment process than the men, and they are trained to go out there and fight the war, do you really think they won't fight the war because there are more women in the military? They would still fight the war because this is what they came for. This is what they are trained to do, right? We have boxing. Women are out there boxing now and winning championships in, is it WWE? What is it called? These are things that back then we would not think a woman should be fighting or can fight. You're taught to dress, wear a pretty dress, go for tea dates, while the men are out there training in the field to be warriors. You see this construct. But today, tell me, in all these spaces requiring physicality, right? And then look at the other side of it. We have men who tell my younger brother now, go to the, he'll tell you, go and fight too. Fight what? Me that is looking for baby boy life. Why does he think he should even feel a type of way for wanting baby boy life? He's not interested in fighting. He does not have energy to fight. He does not want to fight. He cannot fight. So the other side of it is these processes also make men, and you will see they will enter a town, conscript all the young men into the army, and the young women are there. Highest, go and register to become a nurse and nurse the wounded soldiers. Do you think all those men wanted to do that? There are a lot of the men who don't have the energy. They don't want to fight. They cannot fight. They're in the grand scheme of things where we're looking at weakness and strength. They know they don't have that energy. They don't want to. And then there are women who would sit and be like, "Hi, if I am there, I would fight. I will win this war." And they want to, but they cannot because of the kind of society and what is expected and the rules. So you see now the rate of women in the military has grown. Women are fighting wars now more than they used to before. That should tell you something. That should show you that these things were just what was attainable and acceptable and expected then. Because how come women are now fighting the same wars that they thought before that women are not strong enough to fight? Why are they doing it now? It's a thing of people who want, and then why are more men now running from I don't want to do it? Because they were conditioned to do it, even whether they want to or not. So it's a thing of capacity. If we grew up in a society where everything is fair ground, what are you interested in? You would see more people taking choices that are less traditional and less expected of their gender. Because that is an open choice. And it has nothing to do with being a man or a woman.
Yeah, I agree with
Momo,
you.
do you have something to say?
Yes, this is your second question. It ties down back to the first question about gender being boxing people. You know, looking back, they would recruit just men into the army. First World War. If you're a man from 16 to so age, you take up arms and fight. But look at Ukraine war. If you're a man and a woman from this age to this age, see the difference between First World War and the Ukraine Russia. And you understand when you see the Ukraine war with Russia, if you look at what's happening, you see the world has evolved. Formerly, it was only men that were recruited into the army. All these things happen to be because they were putting people in a box, gender role boxes based on strengths. And if you look at it before it became modernized military as we have it today, there used to be two fighting in a place like Game of Thrones kind of fights. Most time, you understand, and those ones they find out that more men were able to survive. I think that's my own understanding from the history I've read than women. So they feel men are stronger, so we should protect our women because they'll give birth to our future generation. In society, one woman can give birth to 9 men. One man can give birth with one woman, can give birth to 9 children. So the more women are alive, the few men can still rebuild that society. So that was what led to the protection of women. It's not because they thought they were not to be trained. They were thinking of if they kill half of us, what will happen to our population? We need the women to stay back so that they can rebuild. You understand? So if you look at the beginning of these things, so it didn't start with women as weak. So you see, the people, like I always tell people, there's this kind of lies that you give someone an untrue story, and the person keeps sharing that untrue story, and people believe that you are that kind of person. This person talks too much. They are like that. They just carry this person talks too much, and they keep he talks too much. He talks too much, and if somebody is not calm enough, the person already has that bias towards you, and at the end of the day, they talk and you talk too much. That's how it is. So basically, the people will not ask questions. Why? Why were women saved? Women were saved because they had to protect their future generation.
Hey, I don't learn something today. Honestly.
Oh, when she was saying that, I was like, I now remember that I read it somewhere that beginning of war, women were not accepted to be part of a war because if you kill us and one man can escape, at least our generation can continue, our land, we can protect our families. So that led to when the war became modernized, they still had that mindset that protect the women. Some of them might not know why they were protecting the women, but they wanted to protect the women but right now with the whole idea, let people choose to be protected. You can't force protection on them. So now the world is getting to understand. Well, let them choose. The women that want to fight, should fight. Those that don't want to, okay. You
But
understand? Things have
even
evolved.
if that existed, even if that existed as a reason, it got lost in translation because we now came up to exist in generations where the only reason women are not doing this is because they are weak.
Weaker
Women will not
vessels. Yeah.
study engineering.
You know why?
Women
You
will
know, it
not
was an
study
epiphany for
engineering
me
because
because when he
tell me
shared it,
how.
I was like, oh, something different from what I've always known.
Because
That the reason why it's a
tell
weaker
me how a society sits down and agrees that even with brains, something that does not require physicality, a woman should not go to be a doctor. A woman should not go to study engineering. These are for men. Because whatever the decision, whatever reason why the neonatal started this, it got over the ages, it became a tool for men to perceive strength and
Yeah.
superiority and
People manipulate things. Yeah.
create systems that limit women and give them that age to just do these things, be in these spaces, and carry on with that tradition without questioning it.
Yeah. Like
And
now,
then
in
we
the world,
grew up thinking we're the lesser vessel. We can't do these things.
like some courses in the Western world, if you are coming to study, they have scholarship because you're a woman, not because they feel you are weak, but because they are trying to encourage women to come. So sometimes to come for that course because they feel like they have less women population, and some courses they are also doing that for men. If a man applies, he has a higher chance of getting that course because there are less men in that profession. They want men to come. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Equality.
As a society, we should look inward and accept that there's an issue here. Women are not doing this. So what is the why? Now let's create a way for them to be able to come in and achieve this. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But if we
Yeah.
avoid the why, we are always only going to be going in merry-go-round, on the merry-go-round, on the merry-go-round. Yeah.
The told
Blame
story. We'll keep dancing around the told story and we'll not question it. And that's why, okay.
I'm blaming the people that are asking the questions
And
to
yes,
be heard.
I'm seeing them as rebels and seeing them as. And
That
then,
is
you
just
know
like,
what? We've been here for 1 hour, 11 minutes, and I don't know if it looks like we'd have a sequel because number one, number two, when there are other questions, you
how
know,
many
so I'm
questions
thinking
do you
that
have in total? Sorry if I
we
may
have,
ask.
I have about 8.
We can't
Oh,
finish
And
it. We can't
I've
finish
not
it tomorrow.
even though some of the questions would be, you guys have touched on some of the things, and
answered
that's
them.
one
Okay.
good thing about when you're having such conversation. But this one is very funny. This one I find it very interesting. You know, when you ascribe certain colors to it's very simple. Somebody asked it, and I'm sure that person is the person the thing can annoy me personally. So, what do you think about ascribing certain things? And the one that comes to mind now is color. What's the rationale behind guys are for blue for guys,
Black.
pink for. See,
Pink.
I'm a woman. I'm not very crazy about pink. In fact, when I see to, I'm like you know, and it will look like, are you trying to be masculine? You know, and all of that. Still the same story. What do you guys think about that? And you know, like you said, the why is very important. I personally find that particular construct of the particular, you know, thing, I find it somehow. So maybe I'm wrong for finding it somehow. What do you think? Ascribing certain things. And the first thing that's come, you know, we've talked about roles now, you know, but I'm trying to talk about the littlest of things, you know, things that we don't, but those things are affecting us. You see that something looks good. A man cannot wear a fine pink shirt because he will be seen as gay or like effeminate, or you know, the thing is affecting people, you know, from making choices, you know, as little as it is. I want us to talk about that.
But
What do you
that's
think
still
about
it's still
describing, you know, things like um colors, you know, to a particular gender?
it still brings us back to gender roles and societal conditioning, socialization. I mean, we have read stories. Thank God I did not grow up in that era. I escaped it, where the lady will have to, once you're a teenager, you're 12, 13, they'll have to carry you through purity, whatever. Then you wear white to signify purity, and then they ascribe softer colors to women because, you know, you're softer, you're feminine, you know, they do these things. What is the rationale behind choosing these colors? what what did these colors represent to people who ascribe them to genders? Why did they think black is representing strength, purple, royalty, and so these are colors for men, and then these ones are colors for women? Why? It's still the same thing. Gender roles, societal conditioning. Why do people think an effeminate man cannot fight, cannot do other things that he wants to do, or becomes less of a man because he has a tiny voice or he's effeminate? Why do people automatically think if you want to play football as a woman, you have to now look like a stud, you have to be masculine, you have to... I mean, I was happy with our recent development where I'm seeing our long hair and long nails from our female champions, and I was like,
I'm
whoosh,
feminine and I'm doing it
you
just
don't
like
have
that.
to cut out everything. If you are comfortable doing it, looking effeminate, do it and win and slay doing it. That is the thing. Conditioning. Personally, I love men on colors. I mean, why shouldn't a man... And that also brings us to why did they condition men? The same color thing. Why did they condition men not to show emotion? Why did they condition a man not to cry? I mean, you lose your wife and then all you want to do is vent and cry, but you can't because you're a man, and then every other person is venting out and feeling better. Why shouldn't you? You are human before anything. You like a yellow color, you cannot wear it because these are all conditionings. And like he said, like Momo said earlier, boxing, we have allowed society to box us so much that everything has become political, from our hairs to what we put on, to the words we say. Like, we have gotten to the point where every single thing about us has been politicized. And that is the problem. That is the problem.
Okay. I'm going to say something here that might be a bit controversial, but if you do your research, you'll find out. A lot of the conditionings we have around female colors, male colors, is from advertisements and westernization.
Yeah. Media plays a big role, I agree.
And westernization. In pre-colonial Africa, we didn't know this. This color difference was not in pre-colonial Africa. If you see the kente, the Ghanaian kente will be an example. We love colors as Africans.
Yes.
We are colorful. As a king, you have to dress regalia in color. So most times when westernization is playing a role in our upbringing, it has to also do with our understanding of the Western media, internet, the cable TV, the telephone, what we view, the magazines we read. Because on their walkway, they're on their the kind of perfume. You see a lady that wants to show she uses a nice perfume. All those things condition your mind to think that's what a woman needs. If they are doing Valentine, they'll make it so the lady Teddy must be pink or this color. That's condition, that's media, that's advertisements. So I'm not going to blame one person or one gender for this. What I think is happening here is advertisements, and it has to do with westernization and conditioning of our minds. I might need to get my laptop charger.
Okay, so you want to get the charger? We'll wait for him because we have to this our conversation. I don't know. That's okay. There's this other one.
Yeah, but I agree. I totally agree with him because at the end of the day, a lot of the social structures we have that put us where we are today, a lot of all these social structures we have here as Africans, they are as a result of colonization. Look at our political system. It's heavily influenced by colonization, and it's still the same system we're using that has barriers for women. So look at our a lot of things that we practice now. There are things we did not have existing in Africa. Let's even look at Christianity. Pre-colonial, did we have Christianity? I mean, I'm a Christian, but honestly, we never had. If I grew up in this country and colonization had never happened and there was no internet, I would never know something like Christianity exists somewhere. But it is part of what is controlling our values, our culture, our social perception, even our political circle. Religion is playing a big role, and it's a Western concept. So I quite agree with him. But then I am not going to totally blame colonization, because we still have a role to play. Colonization came, brought these things, we accepted them and made them our norm. And we're practicing them and letting them influence our decisions,
Yeah,
right? And that's why it's always important. I tell people something I learned from my colleagues. She will always say, interrogate your bias. When you feel something should be this way or something is wrong, interrogate the why. Why, like you said, the why. Why do you think this should be this way? Interrogate your bias. Why do you feel uncomfortable when you see a man wearing pink? If you take time to interrogate your bias, you would realize that why do you feel uncomfortable with a woman who is capable leading you? Why did you cringe and feel ashamed when you saw a man crying? You realize that when you interrogate your bias, take time and genuinely interrogate why you feel this way, you realize that your feeling that way is the problem and not what that person is doing.
that's true.
Once we do that, we realize that we are the problem and not what these people are doing.
Yeah, and to add, I just feel a lot of the times we as humans we tend to um project our feelings and the way we think we know best on people. And you see,
Mm.
this thing called projection is limiting people to be real, to be the real person, the real individual they would be around us. Because somebody wants to break down, but he or she is scared of calling you to break down because they feel you judge them. You understand? And this has nothing to do with any gender or anything. It happens. People will be like, if I call this my friend and I can be honest with this person, but I can't talk about my marital issues with this person. And you find out that there are lots of issues you cannot speak with that so-called friend because you see the way the person criticizes people around living their own life and you are scared. So try to make people feel comfortable around you. Try to embrace peace and live with people because we are all struggling. We all have one struggle or the other.
Yeah.
And this,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, this topic will never end. It's something that we can never trash out in 5 sessions because more questions would
I
arise from it.
agree
More
because
questions will arise
I
from this. And once more questions
no, and then
arise,
we can make it a sequel. We can make
yeah,
it a
there's no
sequel
problem
where
with it being a sequel.
yes, we can pick another time because I at the attention span, I want people to not just watch this. I want them to really
Yeah,
watch it,
it's almost one
to the
hour,
end.
1.5
So I'm
hours.
Yeah.
looking. Yes. So I want us to wrap up with this and look for how we can, look delve deep because I'm of the opinion that we learn that's how I learn several perspectives. I look at it, and just like you have mentioned, I know how things have evolved in my head. The way I do things have changed based on conversations that I've put at questions. There are some questions that I'm even still afraid to ask, but I know I would ask some questions, generally because of where we're coming from. And Mama knows what I'm talking about. There's some very strong things that I just believe that some people are not, in that space yet, to have me ask those questions because I remember this is off the topic, but I remember something, and when we talk about religion now, everybody here goes shoot. But whether we agree or not, all the things that we are facing today, and we are victims of, if I might say, still very much a Christian, but then I have to state it. Everything we're facing can be traced to some of the religious, not just one religion, but several religious books and some of the
Beliefs.
things that they have shared, including how the woman is a weaker vessel and some of those things. And so
Why did you not
for us
just
to
call it
wrap up,
colonialism and westernization
Yeah.
we
Because
rather than
that's where the
religion? Because
religion
that's
came
where
from.
everything came from,
Who
colonialism
wrote
and
the Who wrote
westernization.
the Bible to start with?
well,
colonialism
Very
and
correct.
westernization. Just say
Who
colonialism
brought
and
it here?
westernization. But
Colonialism, right?
when we say religion, we are
Because
removing
religion did not exist from time immemorial.
yeah.
It started somewhere.
And when we say religion, we are moving away the cultural attitude. They dropped to us that
Yeah,
we must wear
there's
suit to go
culture
for
too.
interview. Suit to go for interview is their culture, not ours.
But now,
Forgetting
if you
that
don't
White
wear
wedding.
suits here,
white
White
if you
wedding.
wedding. If
don't
you
wear
get
if
married in
you don't wear
You
Nigeria,
suits
understand?
here,
if
You
you
they
have
get
to
will
go to
think
married
you're
court.
not
traditionally in Nigeria and
serious.
you've not done your white wedding, that marriage is not seen
You can't go to court.
as
You have to go to court and sign. While
The
in
same
in
people who
ours,
brought
we
those
don't
things
do
to
court
us and
before.
we adopted it and left our own
So
culture. Are they still
don't
twins?
reduce the discussion to religion. Let's talk
They are
about
not, my sister.
westernization and colonialization
Okay,
in both
okay.
India and
Thank
Colonization.
you for that.
yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And to wrap it up, 1 minute each, or 1 minute each. Do you think equality is attainable? Do you think equality is attainable? Do you think equality is ever going to be attainable? Momo, shoot. One
Do I think
minute.
equality is attainable? Equality of opportunities for all sexes without without equality for all sexes, yes, without us looking at their tribe, their sexes, their disability, everything. Yes, that's attainable. That is what the world should strive for. That's attainable. If it's ever going to be attainable, it's a struggle. We'll keep struggling for it. A lot of times where we are today in the world was not where we were 10 years ago. People are
Yeah.
evolving, people are struggling. So I cannot be the one to put a time cap. But if it's attainable, why not? Why not? We should all have equal opportunities to things and opportunities in life.
Absolutely. Beautiful answer. Marlene, what do you have to say? Is equality attainable?
Well, I don't think we would still be doing the work we do and making all the efforts we're making if we think it's not attainable. 20 years ago, we won't even be having this conversation this publicly and without fear. So
Mm,
even if whether the problem is the pace, like you said, we cannot measure the pace, but is it achievable? Perfectly. I mean, there was a time black people wouldn't even get on the same bus with white persons, but try to be racist now publicly and loudly. I mean, they are still being very racist,
Subtle,
but
subtle.
it's just subtle, systematic, and all of that. How did they get there? What time frame did it take? Even when it comes to gender, some really progressive countries, like you pointed out, they are somewhere, their efforts percentage of achieving that they are close to equality, closer than a lot of us here are.
Yes.
But we are also not where we used to be. We're moving bit by bit, but we're moving. So as long as we're taking a step, it's achievable.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate this conversation because I have learned a lot. I'm going to go back to watch this and I'm going to share and make sure that people watch it and share their own perspective. Thank you so much for joining, Momo. Thank you for honoring this invitation. Marlene, thank you for honoring. And again, I'll come because I know that there are other aspects that I really need to ask. Again, this
Thank you.
is for first, and for people watching that will watch this later, this is first for education, like I said, to open our minds so that we can see things from several periscopes. And then again, for entertainment, I mean, I asked her if she could kill a snake, and then I found out that Mama said, even me, I don't know if he kill snake. So
I know
yeah.
big mistake. You should not come to.
Alrighty. So just drop your comments if any of the whatever, I mean, if what Momo or Marlin said resonates with you, just drop so that we can also learn. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Let's do
Grace.
this
Bye.
another
Thank
time.
you. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.